Hello, this is Leland Snyder for Frack Times. Today we're covering the rally against the compressor station in Roseland, New Jersey. So what you might not realize about the impact of frack gas development is that the impact is throughout the entire network. You have the starting, the drilling muds being used, the flowback being produced even during the drilling, the toxic fluids being used for the fracking, the flowback of the fracking fluids. You have at the well pad brine tanks that are collecting fluids even after the well is producing gas. You have enclosed flare stacks there. You have at the compressor stations, you have flares, not flares, but you have blowdowns occurring at the compressor stations, and you'll see two examples of that I provide right before the rally speech is given at the rally against the Roseland compressor station. In addition to that, the compressor stations themselves, you have the exhausts of the compressor stations. So take a look at those quick clips and then listen in to the speeches provided at the rally.
It's been going on for half an hour now. I called 911. My subcontractor here, Peyton, he's made calls.
We're gonna conclude this up. A couple of things I want to say. For those people who are in the area, who are Roseland residents, who are in East Hanover residents, I really wish that you would contact Mayor Duthie here in Roseland, first and primarily, to thank him for writing such a strong letter to the governor and to encourage him to keep it up. And we want to thank Mayor Duthie for doing that. It was a big sea change for him, and he's really come a long way, and we need to really positively reinforce that. I want to thank Chief McDonough and the Roseland Police Department who've done an incredible job in keeping us safe and allowing us to have this demonstration and to really look out for our safety. I want to thank them for that. They've been absolutely awesome to work with and do it. We're going.
So they built it anyway, and so what we deal with is toxic assault, noxious odors, noise, and it's really not even fully operational yet. They're just starting it up. There's frequent blowdown events, and when they have those blowdown events, children have headaches, they have nausea, my daughter gets nosebleeds, kids get asthma attacks, abdominal cramps, terrible rashes, and I think what's so disturbing is that these are very similar to symptoms that people are experiencing in the frack fields of Pennsylvania. So we have to ask ourselves, what is in this gas that is making people in Pennsylvania sick, is making children in New York sick, and is making everyone who's exposed to this gas in some form or another sick?
So that's kind of where things are in terms of the gas compressor. There's one other big deal, though, about this whole operation. The gas compressor is part of the Northeast Supply Link, which is one of the 5 pipeline systems coming across New Jersey that are being built or being planned, and there's others of them that are also just about ready to go into operation. There's one they're trying to build through the pine lands. They want to build a gas pipeline through the pine lands, right? It's all about bringing more frack gas, eventually bringing it to the coast, setting up export terminals and shipping the gas overseas where the prices for gas are much higher. That's ultimately what all of these pipelines that are built across New Jersey and the whole plans of the gas industry are all about. So this gas compressor is connected to a 50-year-old pipeline that starts here in Roseland. It goes for 25 miles, goes over to the Hudson River, goes under the Hudson River into Harlem, into Manhattan. And they are increasing the pressure on this pipeline by 13%. A 50-year-old pipeline, they're increasing the pressure, and they say, don't worry, no problem, it's going to be safe. There are towns along the route of this 25-mile, 50-year-old pipeline that have come out with resolutions opposing this whole project because of their concerns about what could happen. Leaks and explosions. The towns of Bloomfield and the town of Nutley have both come out with strong resolutions against this whole project. And just this past week, the town of North Caldwell, their town council, they talked about that issue at their meeting. So the word is spreading about the dangers of this whole thing. The gas compressor station, the pipeline, the 25-year-old pipeline, these safety issues, that the congressperson, Rodney Frelinghuysen, for this area, who is a Republican, as is the mayor of this town, Mayor Duthie. Congressman Frelinghuysen, he wrote 2 months ago a letter to FERC saying that if there has been no serious safety study of this issue of the gas compressor next to the electrical station, that he said these were his words. This should be shut down. They should stop construction until such a safety study is done. Right? That's the congressman. And the mayor of the town, Mayor Duthie, who earlier on this year basically was supportive of the project as he learned about it. And as his son experienced a massive gas release that happened. It was a quote-unquote planned gas release in June. And workers, employees in a law firm down here, Fox Rothschild, they were sickened by this gas release. Nausea, headaches, people had to go home. The elementary school, Noacker Elementary School, about 3/4 of a mile from here, was shut down, and the elementary school kids were sent home. And the mayor, after that happened, talked in a public meeting about how that had an impact on him, and ever since then, he's been saying some different things about this gas compressor, and he wrote a letter to Governor Christie basically saying that we don't like this thing, we don't want this thing is not good for our community, it's virtually all loss and no gain. And by the way, a lot of times you hear about these projects being good for a community because of jobs. You know how many jobs after the construction is done they're going to be with this thing? One job, one guy here from 9 to 5 during the work week and monitoring it, and that's it. No one will be here at night if there's a fire or an explosion or a leak or something. No one will be here on the weekend, but don't worry, they're going to be monitoring it from Houston. This is what the company, Williams Transco, has told the mayor and local the town council. That's their plan in terms of safety. And as far as having any fire equipment, any vehicles, any trucks that have the capacity to deal with a gas fire, no, there is no such thing in this area. And no, Williams Transco is not planning to contribute to allow that to take place, to be prepared for a gas fire. So this is what's going on. This is what we're facing. Despite this situation, we have a strong local committee, Roseland Against the Compressor Station. We have the support of a number of other groups. We intend to continue this fight. We will do everything we can to limit the damage if that's all we can do, but we're not going to come off how we think this is crazy, what's going on here. We want to get a safety study, and we think that safety study will show this is a bad idea and we need to go another way. And there's no question we need to go another way in terms of energy policy, getting off of all fossil fuels and moving to wind and solar, the renewable clean sources that are actually very competitive right now in terms of their price. Wind and solar are very much on the upswing. That's where we need to be going, not frack gas, not compressor stations, not pipelines that are 50 years old where you increase the pressure.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. I'm going to be very quick. I'm just going to tell a little story that talks about grassroots power. So this Thursday marked the 2-year anniversary of our region shutting down the oil and gas industry's plan to frack in the Delaware River Basin. The DRBC, which was a 5-party commission made up of the governors of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and representative from the federal government, the Army Corps of Engineers, had scheduled a vote that would have allowed up to 20,000 frack wells in the pristine Upper Delaware watershed, the drinking water source for over 16 million people in the region. And this sparked a grassroots movement in this area. And we actually mobilized thousands of people who had committed to go down and protest this hearing. And essentially what happened was the industry got wind of these plans, canceled the hearing, the vote never took place, and 2 years later, we get to celebrate two more years of our watershed not being fracked. I think what I'm seeing here today is I'm seeing folks from New York, I'm seeing folks from Pennsylvania, I'm seeing folks from New Jersey, from Philadelphia, all over this region who are fighting different aspects of this same problem, but coming together and showing our collective power. And this is where our power is. It lies right here. We can't always see it. We're going to be facing more and more of these problems, but when we recognize that this is where our power is built and we have the power already to change these things, we just keep getting organized and keep coming together. We're gonna take back the power that we need, and we're gonna move in a different direction. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you all so much for coming, and
Station was we've used some of our money and the donations that we've gotten to do air testing. We tried to get the town to do baseline air testing about what's in the air in the town of Roseland, and they declined to do it, so we resorted to doing it ourselves. We did a test sample to get the baseline before the station opened, and that is now being in the process of being analyzed, and we get the results back. We should get them soon. We have to continue to do this, so at this time, if there's any way, Marsha right over here has a donation, if there's any donation that you can make to us, we're going to continue on doing that which our local government right now doesn't see the necessity of doing. Is we've got to keep on this to find out what's in the air and what this thing puts out.
My name is Greg Latordo. I'm from Milford, Pennsylvania. Originally, I grew up in New Jersey, in Clifton. I know this area real well. My heart is still in New Jersey. But one of the things that we've been fighting pipelines, and we're about ready to get a compressor up in our state area. And what is really needed is all of us, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, to all band together, because what's happening down here is only just the tip of the iceberg. What's happening in Pennsylvania that we're shipping down here to you is even worse. And it's rural areas. We don't have enough grassroots support. So we're supporting you down here and helping us out in the country. And I really thank you all for what you're doing.
Yeah. Earlier, you heard that there were 16 towns that this gas compressor station is going to push more gas through their pipelines through 16 towns. Here they are, and I have some extra copies of this if anyone needs to remember any of these. Of course, Roseland, West Caldwell, North Caldwell, Cedar Grove, Little Falls, Clifton, Bloomfield, Nutley, Belleville, North Arlington, Lyndhurst, Rutherford, East Rutherford, Carlstadt, Ridgefield, North Bergen, and at least under one school, Montclair State University. So these are all the towns that are subject to leaks, fires, and explosions. And this amazing thing happened where last week, Williams Transco was on a phone conversation with people from Roseland, and they said that we don't have to worry because they're going to push an electric current along the pipeline, very low voltage. This is the article from the local paper, The Progress. And he said and this little electrical voltage is very low, will curtail corrosion. Oh well, could we understand this? No. In addition, he said every 7 years, the gas company says it will send through the pipeline a device that will identify both corrosion and gas leaks. And under this maintenance procedure, Transco Williams claims the pipeline will last forever. I mean, really? You don't have to be too smart to figure forever. I mean, really? They're just saying these things. And that is, of course, as it was said earlier, it's being monitored from Houston, so we should be pretty, feel pretty safe about that. So it's wonderful that everybody's here and that all different towns are here, not just Roseland, and I'm from Bloomfield, and we have the pipeline coming through our town, and we support Roseland, and I'm glad that everyone here is we're supporting each other and fight this fracking gas compressor station and pipeline. Thank you.